Hey gamers, this is DizzyPW with OnRPG. In celebration of our website's latest redesign, I'm bringing you a new series called Epic MMOs, in which I take a look at some of my favorite MMOs and tell you just what makes them so good. And of course, where else would I start but League of Legends, one of the best games on the market today. For those unfamiliar with tower defense games, you basically have minions pushing down multiple lanes and towers blocking them from getting to their endpoint. However, League of Legends adds in the twist of unique champion characters, each with 4 abilities plus 2 summoner skills that are not only there to block the enemy minions, but to help push with their minions to destroy the enemy's base first. This becomes an intense PvP match in which you have 1 or 2 people on each lane going up against 1 or 2 people on the opposing lane to see who can oust each other first. And that's the part of the game I'm going to be looking at today, the laning phase. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating the bottom lane with a support and a physical damage character known as Sona and Pantheon. Now, the reason I'm showing this is because I want to show how important the laning phase is, and in this game, we're going to end a game early by dominating it completely. Now, even though Sona is a support character that uses music to buff allies and injure enemies, I've built her so that she can dish out quite a bit of damage, as you're about to see here. Now, he wasn't even expecting this from a support character, being that he's a tank. We've now instilled fear in the enemy, and we're going to continue to dominate using that fear as the match goes on. Now Pantheon, he's your typical Spartan. He uses a shield and a spear, and he jumps around and does massive damage once he catches his enemy. This makes him quite a threat, and as you can see from their tank hiding way at the back, he wants nothing to do with us anymore. Now if you notice the yellow bar that's been building up as minions die, that's the experience meter. As our experience rises and we gain levels, we learn new skills which make us even more versatile in the lane. Now we're about to hit level 2 here, and Pantheon's going to learn a jump stun skill, which we utilize on their overextended Caitlyn to get First Blood. Now First Blood is even more valuable than killing minions because it gives you a large sum of gold immediately, which you can then use when you return to the shop to purchase items to make your character stronger. Get the strongest items first and become more dominant in the late game, to the point that some people will just give up and not bother fighting at all. Now a lot of players would remain this far in the lane, trying to constantly harass Galio and hit the turret, but this isn't the wisest thing to do because the enemy jungler, a character who moves between lanes killing monsters to gain experience and gold, could come out from the river at any time, hit us from behind, and it would be an easy 2 kills, which would give the other team an advantage and ruin our strategy of finishing this match quickly. So I'm going to hit the B button, hit inside this bush so they don't know I'm gone, go back and spend some of that early game gold. Now there's not a whole lot I can buy right now, but let's take a look in the shop what is available. Alright, I can pick up some movement boots, which allow me to move faster and return to the lane faster. I can also pick up something called a ward. Now wards are very important, especially if you're playing a support character, because they give you vision of the map where none of your characters currently are residing. This is incredibly important because of that character I mentioned earlier that moves between the lanes and can come out and gank at any time. If you have a ward inside of your river, as I'm about to lay here, then you'll have forewarning that he's on his way, and you will not have to worry about him. Now while I skip ahead to show you laying this ward, let's talk about why exactly we are dominating so far in this match. It's all about synergy between you and your lane partner. Pantheon has naturally high attack damage, and with Sona's aura, he gains even more attack damage. Now, we finally get to see this character that roams between lanes known as the jungler in action here. We lure them in, they use their eye skill to try and spot us in the bush and don't realize he's up there. And when the time is right, Pantheon jumps, Warwick flashes in, and we all unleash hell on her. Fortunately, we weren't coordinated enough, and she uses her little net to bounce back and get away from us. But it's alright, because we now have control of this lane, and we've caused great damage on our opponents. Now Warwick is a lifesteal character. This is important for the jungler because they have to fight mobs endlessly trying to rack up gold so they can keep up with the experience gained in the lane. So he's going to stay here and let Pantheon go back and buy items. Once Pantheon has his items as well, then this lane will be completely in our hands. And the enemy's too afraid of Warwick up in that bush to push against us and take advantage of this time. Now this fear is very important because he's going to go back and buy items on his own. This will leave me as a support character alone in a lane against 2 characters. Now this disadvantage would be terrible if they realized that I was all alone, but because of Warwick possibly hiding these bushes, they don't push, and I'm able to freely farm minions by myself. Now the benefit of having 1 character in a lane instead of 2 is that you gain all the experience from each minion killed instead of sharing it with your teammate. Now while I'm holding this tower down, I'll go ahead and explain some of the other roles you can play in the laning phase and why it's valuable having only 1 character in a lane. When you have 2 characters in a lane, every minion you kill and every champion you kill gives you experience that's split between the 2 characters. But if you have a particularly powerful character that you want to get to max level faster, you put them alone either in mid or on top. Now, the middle character is normally a magic character that's good for spiking people down quickly. These characters are excellent to get fed early because when they start to roam between lanes, they can easily assassinate low HP characters and build even further into their strong items faster. The top lane, on the other hand, tends to be something known as a tanky DPS. These characters are categorized as having great sustain, such as lifesteal, and they also have great defense, and they also tend to have high attack damage once built up. So while early on the tanky DPS might not be the best character for team fights, once they're built up with plenty of defense and plenty of offense, they can force the enemy's weaker squishies to fall back earlier, giving you an advantage in artillery in a late game team fight. So now it looks like things are starting to settle down in the other lanes. Our team seems to be dominating the jungle, dominating the mid, and we're at a stalemate in the top lane. So it's looking like if we're going to end this game early, it's going to be reliant completely on me and Pantheon, who got first blood. So we're going to try and use some psychology here to feint back, trying to last as many minions as we can, but have them push forward, because once we have them far away from their tower, we'll have the advantage to be able to jump in and finish them off. So here they think they have the advantage on us. We get pushed back pretty far, and now the time comes where we're going to use the psychology that they still think I'm a squishy support as a way to bait them into a team battle. Now it's very nice here that they keep using their clairvoyant summoner skill to try and spot Pantheon inside of the bush. They should actually be looking for where our jungler is to protect their overextended mid, but because they're not, we don't have to worry about that. We could have called in a gank on this, but we're going to go forward. I'm going to look like I'm wide open, and as soon as they commit, Pantheon jumps in, and we push both of them out of the lane, both barely surviving with a little bit of HP. So, as you can see here, we have full reign of the lane. The only thing we have to worry about is the enemy team's jungler. And if he doesn't show up, the tower is ours, the laning phase ends, and we score 190 gold for everyone on our team. So let's keep an eye here, see if the jungler comes out, still unopposed. And it looks like there's the jungler actually on top lane, taking out our bruiser. So that means that with middle lane occupied, top lane occupied, there's nobody here to stop us, and we pick up the kill on the tower slowly but surely. And just because of how dominant we were on our lane, this unorthodox team has instilled psychological fear in our opponents, and they're not going to want to stick around to fight us for much longer. So here's the late game team fight where they try and do an all-or-nothing push in mid, and thanks to our superior farm on killing minions, thanks to our early game kills, they're just no match for us, and we crush them quickly in this team fight. And this is the last straw. Having lost this team fight, they have no reason to continue on. We're just going to get more and more farmed. We're going to get stronger characters, and they're going to lose one way or the other. So they surrender, and that's the end of the game. It shows you why League of Legends is not only an amazing PvP game, make the laning phase one of the most exciting things you'll find in an MMO in today's market. For information on League of Legends, including champion reviews when each new champion comes out, be sure to check out OnRPG.com. This is DizzyPW signing off.